What's up, everybody? This is Connor Williams for the Los Angeles Rams running back, and I'm tuned in with the Fantasy Football Counselor.
Welcome to the show, guys. Got a massive episode here. We are doing week 2 full recap. We're highlighting the highs, the lows, the studs, the sucks at every single position. Starting off with the quarterbacks, going to get you up to date on the latest news and notes, injuries. I just heard Isaiah Pacheco, broken fibula. I know, Jim, you're a Pacheco guy, man. So much going on right now, including the major upsets last week. So we're going to do a recap here again, position by position. Jim, I'm ready to dive in. So much to unpack, man. I don't even know where to start, man. This could be huge.
Yes. Embrace the chaos, counselor. We are in full-fledged chaos right now as far as fantasy football is concerned.
It was wild, man. We're going to get to the latest news and notes here to start things off first. But let's just get right to it, guys. But make sure you guys do smash it, tap it, slap it, hit the thumbs up, guys. Hit that thumbs up and drop a comment below. Who was your stud? Who was your suck? And we're going to honor the suck of the week at each position as we go through these positions here. Let's start off with the latest news and notes here. Where's Breaking Brad?
We now have breaking news.
I want to talk, first of all, the upsets yesterday in regards to these matchups. I mean, listen to this. Raiders win by 3, which is shocking. And the Ravens were actually favored by 6.5. Listen to this. Buccaneers win by 4. The Lions were favored by 7.5. The Saints win by 25.
That's crazy.
The Cowboys.
Are the Saints for real? They look for real after 2 weeks, man. They are crazy good offense and a really good defense. I mean, geez, they shut down Dallas. I don't know, man. Nobody was talking about New Orleans preseason.
No one. No one. And we had Rashid Shaheed on the show, remember? And he said,
well, yeah,
he's gonna have a better season. And you called him an outside speedster, and we confronted him, and he says, nope, he's gonna do more, and he did. But listen to this. So the Cowboys were favored 6.5 on that. The Vikings win by 6. Okay, and the 49ers were favored by 3.5. The Browns win by 5. The Jags were favored by 3.5, and the Packers win by 6. And the Colts were favored by 2.5. Dude, upsets everywhere in regards.
Yeah, don't forget, Arizona beat the pants off of the Rams. I mean,
that too. Like, who would have thought that? I mean, I thought the Rams would actually at least kept it close. I think it was like. I think the Rams were an underdog by 1.5 or something like that, or were they the favorite, give or take? But dude, it was absolutely wild, man, absolutely wild. So that's the NFL. And then now let's talk a little bit about these injuries, man. I mean, where do we start with these injuries? I mean, let's start off with the first thing that just came across my feed as we're recording this. We're going to release this for you guys. You know, we released it. We recorded the day before. But we're actually going to release it today. I want to get this out as soon as possible. So out today, Isaiah Pacheco out with a fractured fibula. Did a quick Google search on it, and it looks like 4 to 6 weeks. He's going to miss some real time, Jim. That's not good. Not good.
Nope, not good. But Carson Steele, priority pickup. Luckily, I actually have him. I have Carson Steele in most of my leagues right now, so I'm pretty happy about that. That at least I have that covered. Although it does suck because Pacheco looked great out there. He looked great, and very disappointing. So
yeah, Carson Steele, I got him in one league. So we're gonna get to we're gonna go through every position and go through the waivers at each position as well. In other news as well, I mean, it was Jefferson. He's gonna play. I just heard that he's gonna be playing. He's going to continue to play. It was like a quadratic contusion, swelling of the quad or something like that. Good news for Jefferson owners, right, Jim?
I suppose. I mean, that whole team, the Vikings are really hit with a ton of injuries. Addison didn't play this past week. TJ Hawkinson's still out. So it's like, and they got Sam Darnold. I don't know how Sam Darnold keeps doing it, man. Seriously, I don't. Yesterday, 268 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was the number 3 quarterback on the week. Are we in bizarro land? What the hell?
Yeah, man. We're gonna start off with quarterbacks here, and the guys that are on top, it's just absolutely wild, absolutely wild. Other things in the news here. Again, it was Joe Mixon who played like garbage. I only think he had like 8 points. So will be evaluated. His ankle was bothering him. He suffered a sprained ankle. Joe Mixon. Anything else in injuries here? That
AJ Brown was called. He's out for Monday night. We're recording this on Monday before the game, but so that was announced on Sunday. Yeah, it was actually very nice of the Eagles to do that, to let us know that we needed to get him out of our lineup so we wouldn't be stuck on Monday night. But yeah, that's another one right there.
Yeah, the injuries seem piling up, and it's just like, Amon St. Brown was hobbling. I think he's okay. I'm not sure what happened to him in the game. He was pretty banged up that game. Looks like Jameson Williams is kind of stepping up in that offense as well.
Oh, Amon-Ra had like a huge number of targets yesterday. He had like 15 targets or something insane like that. He has not been displaced by Jameson Williams. But you know who Jameson Williams did displace is Sam Laporta, who is a non-factor this year. I am shocked that he is not getting anything. He is not 2 targets. I mean, that's what he got yesterday. Just absolutely that is gross. I don't like that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So there's so much to cover here. So let's get right to it here. Again, make sure you guys do smash it, tap it, slap it. Again, let us know if we missed anything. There was tons of news. I mean, the whole episode is news, so we don't even want to break in the segment, but we wanted to give that introduction talk. Just a wild, wild west out here, but it gets even wilder as we start going through each position here. So we'll start off here with the quarterbacks, the studs and sucks and waiver wires. Week 2 recap, but also week 3 waiver wire here, Jim. So let's start off with the quarterbacks. Before I do, guys, I did release a new course set right now. Join the mastermind, guys, for sports bets right now. The Counselor's Edge. I've linked it below. Get my optimal spreads, optimal picks, optimal plays, including my top 5 prop bets for the week, guys. So, the over-unders on positional players. I give you my 5 locks of the week. Head on over right now, guys, right here below. I've linked it below. I didn't even put it on my website. It just came out now. Counselor's Edge. So get that below. All right, so let's start off here. Week 2 quarterbacks here. Studs and sucks. Kyler Murray, Derek Carr, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones, Geno Smith. Who would have thought that these guys, excluding the Monday night game, because that's coming tonight, who would have thought that Derek Carr, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, and Daniel Jones would be top 5 quarterbacks, while guys like Josh Allen finished 24th, like Pat Mahomes 16th, Dak Prescott 18th, who just got paid $1 bazillion, Jim. It's absolutely outstandingly crazy. I don't even know what the word to say is here. Absolutely wild.
Yeah, it is. It is very shocking. But truthfully, when you talk about like Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones and Geno Smith, they didn't really have a great week. I mean, their fantasy points: Baker Mayfield 19.8, Daniel Jones 18.3, Geno Smith 17.9. Yeah. These are not barn buster numbers. These are very mediocre quarterback numbers. Really, the only quarterback of note that really did well was Kyler Murray yesterday. Yeah. Kyler Murray 28.5 points. Derek Carr got 23. That's good. But I mean, everybody else just sucked. I mean, the quarterback play is just down so bad right now. I don't know how to explain it. How do you explain Patrick Mahomes with 151 passing yards and 2 touchdowns, or Josh Allen with 139 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and then 2 rushes for 2 yards? In what universe does that happen? I mean, where are we?
This strange.
This just does not make any sense at all, and nobody's doing good. That's the thing that's really bothering me here is where is the excellent quarterback play, especially for those of us that paid a premium for these rushing quarterbacks. Where the heck are they? I mean, what is going on that they're sub 200 yards passing?
We talked about Jared Goff as well, and Sam Laporta. Like Jared Goff, 2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns. He looked completely inefficient. Like he did not look good. 61.7 passer rating.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Goff again, not a good week.
Yeah,
terrible. CJ Stroud, 260 yards, 1 touchdown. Man, you didn't draft CJ Stroud in the 6th round to get you 1 touchdown. Man, that offense should be scoring multiple touchdowns every single week.
How about Anthony Richardson, a guy that everybody said he's a top 5 quarterback? 9.9 fantasy points for Anthony Richardson. And Caleb Williams, oh my God. I mean, talk about a bad quarterback. 51% passer rating. He had 2 interceptions. What do you have? Sorry, not
2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But he, on a positive note, he doubled his passing yards from last week. He went from 83 yards to 174 yards. So good for Caleb. Good job. That's a good improvement for 1 week. So
that's why, I mean, we're having a hard time trusting guys that are regulars, the Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen. Never mind investing high draft capital in Anthony Richardson and a Caleb Williams in fantasy drafts. These guys have done nothing. I mean, the only person I'd say is doing worse than anybody, but nobody drafted him really, is Bryce Young. I mean, man, oh man,
Oh
is this guy
God.
bad?
I took Bryce Young as my QB3 in some best ball leagues. Wow, is he a non-factor? He is not doing a damn thing. So
26 attempts, 18 completions for 84 yards. He's averaging 3.2 yards per pass. I mean, it doesn't get much. Like I said, you and I could go in and throw more than that, man. Bryce Young, terrible. And then Tua, we got to talk about Tua. Got hurt earlier in the week. I mean,
concussion, another concussion.
third documented concussion. It's obviously something's going on with the brain when your body, like it's freezing up like that. It's not good. And from what I heard is that he's not considering retirement. That's the latest on him. I heard he's still going to play. I hope
He's got to wear that thing on top of the helmet.
Yeah,
I think
the Guardian
he needs to
cap.
just be wearing that, and it's fine. You can wear that. I saw several players wearing that yesterday in the game, and I'm like, good. You know, I mean,
it still helps.
That's what you need to protect your brain. Protect your brain.
But being a boxer, I did boxing and MMA. It helps a little bit, but it's still like it's still, if your neck gets cranked or you get that motion, it's still going to impact your brain. It does a little bit suppress the impact,
Sure,
but
I mean, your brain's like it's like a pickle in a jar. It's not solidly set in there. It moves around, and if it hits the inside of your skull too hard, that's how you get a concussion. It's a brain bruise. I mean, it's just a terrible situation.
And even with the Guardian cap, you become like a bigger target. You know what I mean? So now you have more surface area to get hit, and if you still get hit, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's tough. It's not up to us to make a decision on his career. Right. But it just, I mean, I would say I've done a lot and I've got paid. I'd probably walk. It's just not worth my life. But anyway, so I would say the suck of the week, guys. Again, you guys drop it below. Who is the suck of the week? Oh man, I don't know. I would say Josh Allen at 9.
Josh Allen for sure.
Based on his draft capital, that is really embarrassing. What was so frustrating, again, I got to talk about this, and I want to take full ownership on this, and everyone will make excuses for it, but they shouldn't, is Keon Coleman. I mean, he was the top wide receiver prospect for these guys. The fact that he only had one target, like, it's like Josh Allen, but I guess Josh Allen's not throwing at all. Like, you can't even say, like, everyone's going into the season saying Curtis Samuel's the one. He sucks too. Like, nobody was getting the ball. They just kept running it to Cook. Cook had the game of his life.
13 completions is all he got. 13. No wide receiver's going to be good if the quarterback's only getting 13 receptions.
But why? Why so frustrating? But like look at Nico Collins. We're talking about. I was wrong about it. I can't believe this. All of a sudden, Nico's getting all these targets, but Josh Allen throws more than CJ Stroud, but is not. Like, it was just a weird week.
I think it also had a lot to do with the game flow because the Buffalo just took such a commanding lead so quickly because Tua had 3 turnovers. They scored on like 2 of them, and so it was just a total blowout. And then they just went to game manager. He just handed off to the running back and just let him utilize the clock. We saw that several cases yesterday, but I think that's part of it. But still, man, that is just that was a horrendous total. And here's the thing. What I tend to find with my fantasy teams is how Thursday goes for me really determines how the week goes. And I had a crappy Thursday because I had Josh Allen, I had Keon Coleman. Basically the only players that did any good on Thursday night were the 2 running backs and the Buffalo defense. That was the only players you were happy that you started. But when you just have a lot of players that just don't do anything, and then you're going into Sunday, you're already behind the 8 ball, and then things don't go your way. It's just problems all around.
So suck of the week, Josh Allen. But who? There's no one to pick up. I mean, Sam Darnold. I guess you could say.
Pickups. Here's who I would target right now. Well, Derek Carr, I think, is probably the top target. He's looked great for these past 2 weeks, and he's got really good weapons. He's been very effective. And then also Sam Darnold. I think, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, if Justin Jefferson's injured and he's not playing, I don't want Sam Darnold.
No, he's gonna play. He's gonna play. They said he said he's gonna play. Jefferson.
He's gonna play through it. All right. But those would be my 2 priority pickups. I also think maybe Gardner Minshew is worth a pickup, but he's not a startable guy. He's more like for your bench. And then maybe Bo Nix also. He did have 35 attempts. 246 yards, 0 touchdowns. So that's not good. But, those are who I would be looking right now on the waiver wire.
Okay, let's move on here to the running back position. Oh, my God. I mean, just wild west. Alvin Kamara, again, going back to, James Cook, I think he had 4 touchdowns in the past 2 years, and he pretty much broke that in last game. He had three touchdowns in one game. It's like finished third, again, excluding the Monday game. I think Barkley and Byjan are going to have great weeks. But what do you think of this, man? Alvin Kamara, Devin Achane, and James Cook, Breece Hall, J.K. Dobbins, and Braylon Allen, who's a top waiver wire pickup, who I told you to stash on the bench anyway. What do you think of these running backs, Jim? Wild.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, the lids. Actually, this is a pretty good year for running backs so far, man. I mean, some really big performances, and James Cook just. Basically, Josh Allen just deferred everything to James Cook, and James Cook did do really well with it. Alvin Kamara got 4 touchdowns yesterday. That's insane. And yeah, Braylon Allen was an interesting because he only had seven carries. 7 carries and 4 targets, and but he got 2 touchdowns. That's why he was so big this past week. I don't think you can start him yet, but I think he's definitely worth having on your bench for sure if you can get him.
Yeah, Braylon Allen, man. I mean, 7 attempts, 33 yards, 4.7 yards per carry. Breece still the man. Obviously, getting it done in the receiving game. 7 receptions, 52 yards, a receiving touchdown as well. 24.4 points. Dobbins, again, as long as he stays healthy, he's in such a good system that he's going to succeed. So Dobbins, good week. Again,
plus it was a great matchup. I mean, come on, they played the Panthers, so that was a great situation for him. I don't even know who the Chargers play week 3. I haven't looked at that schedule yet.
Yeah. I'm still just trying to absorb what's going on this week, man. I haven't even looked at week.
Right, 3. Exactly.
That's coming after. That's the first thing tomorrow morning. I'm on that. James Conner, I guess I was wrong on Benson. I can't believe that. I'm still not sold on James Conner being a great running back. He's in a good system, though. Again, years to wow us were not wowed. Was a backup for years, and the Steelers only won.
I don't think he was a backup for years. It was his second year when he kind of took over the backfield in Pittsburgh. And he got 5.8 yards per carry yesterday. Now, again, positive game script.
Yeah.
They were just handing the ball off to him, but he has been very effective and very efficient. I mean, really, that yards per carry is pretty outstanding. That's the other thing. There's these crazy yards per carry. We don't see this in the NFL. James Cook had 7.1 yards per carry. J.K. Dobbins, 7.7 yards per carry. James Conner, 5.8. Jahmyr Gibbs, 6.5. These are way above. I mean, usually you're like, oh, if you get like 4.2, you are a dominant running back. I mean, these are like crazy efficiency numbers that we haven't seen in a long time in the NFL.
Yeah, it's a combination of just explosive gameplay, right? You got blown coverage. Defense is just absolutely falling asleep. I don't know what's going on sometimes, man.
I've heard it's because they're selling out to stop the pass, right? They're putting 2 high safeties back. I sent you a video on it that was talking about it, that the defensive schemes have changed now to really kind of shut down the long passing, the medium and long passing game. But that opens up the short range stuff, which is the running backs and the short passes and stuff. So that's what we're seeing. We're seeing defenses have changed, and now the offenses are changing, and I think this is all a part of that.
Absolutely. So again, running backs here. Let's go top 10. Alvin Kamara, Devin Achane, James Cook, Breece Hall, J.K. Dobbins, Braylon Allen, James Conner, Zach Charbonnet, who stepped in with a Walker hurt. And I was telling you in the offseason, I just didn't trust Walker. He's shown signs of injuries in the past. And now,
I'm fine with Walker. He only became doubtful on like Saturday. I think he'll be back pretty quickly. Again, it was that oblique injury that he got in week 1. So he just needs a little bit extra time to heal. I think he's fine. And he looked great week 1. So
Jahmyr Gibbs and Jordan Mason finishing top 10, again, excluding the Monday game, 17.4 points. Again, we talked about Christian McCaffrey. Ding, ding, ding. Again, so many people are high on Christian McCaffrey. It was like a consensus. You have to go Christian McCaffrey. They said, I guaranteed injury. And now they're saying IR and possibly 6 weeks. He's done, man. He's done. And even if he does come back, it's going to be Jordan Mason's backfield. It's going to be.
It won't. It'll go back to CMC.
No, I don't think so.
They're paying him $19 million a year. They're not going to pay him $19 million a year to sit on the bench.
It's going to be limited. Jordan Mason's going to dip into that. It's not going to be the CMC that's going to get 30 carries just for sheer preservation of him. They don't want him to get hurt in the playoffs.
Right,
so
exactly.
When he does come back, let's say week 8, Jordan Mason's still going to eat. I'm telling you, I don't see him being like the full workhorse anymore. And then some guys did okay. Again, should I give up on Zamir White at this point? Like it just
Oh man. I mean, again, yeah. Where is he even on this list?
35.
35.
35.
Only nine carries, man. And he only averaged 2.7 yards per carry. This is what I was saying about these guys like Zamir, guys that did what Zamir did. That's why I don't trust them.
It was a tough matchup. It was a tough matchup. So I don't know. Was it just the Ravens? Like, was it just because it was a tough matchup? That could be possible. But again, I'm just so tired of excuses. Like I'm not start. I don't know if I want to start him. And then next week I don't start him. He's going to go off for 50 attempts and like 2,000 yards. Like, he did get more done than Addison, but not by much by Madison. I don't know, man. It's just
basically Madison just got the touchdown. That's what saved Madison. Madison didn't really do anything.
And again, another disappointment I take ownership on is Tajay Spears. He was drafted to be Derrick Henry's replacement. In comes Pollard, a failed backup, a failed starter, and he's getting more attempts than Spears. It's beyond disappointing. I don't know how long this is going to continue, but there has to be some injuries going on here with guys like James Conner, Tajay Spears, and Trey Benson to get going. I mean, I don't know, man. You got to be injuries to the top guys. And these guys aren't even top guys, though. Like, I don't see Connor being that good. I'm still shocked that he's doing this well. I really am.
He did good last year. I mean, again, he was averaging like 5 yards per carry last year. But you're right. He's an older running back, and he's also oft injured. So, again, these older guys, they look good. They look really good at the beginning of the season. But after about 4 or 5 weeks, it really starts. Those hits add up. And that's when you really start to see these guys fall off considerably. So that's where I'm at with most of these older running backs that are, again, they're still looking, they looked really good. A lot of them looked really good in week 2. But it's a long season. This is a long season. We're only 2 weeks in, man. This is it. We got what, 17 weeks to go.
And a lot of people rip me, you're wrong about Zamir White, but look how many people are doing bad. Like CMC, Rashad White finished 50th. I didn't tell anybody to draft Rashad White. So you could come at me for Zamir. How about Rashad White, who was coming off a couple rounds before him? Rashad White, 3.3 fantasy points PPR. I can go on forever, baby. the old line from Home Alone, right? Gus Edwards.
Tampa Bay's running game really got completely shut down yesterday. It was completely locked down. They didn't get anything in that backfield. So
Joe Mixon, 8 points. Najee Harris, I wasn't high on him. 8.4 points. Rico Dowdle, everybody's talking about, 11 points. Josh Jacobs fumbled the ball. He had a decent game, 13 points. Again, some of these guys that everybody else was promoting, just absolute crap. Zach Moss, the so-called RB1, 5.7 points. Not good. Zeke Elliott. Everyone's like, good Zeke Elliott. I'm like, he's washed. 5.2 points. So a lot of running backs did bad. Don't just pick on my Zamir. Look in the mirror. Does that rhyme? Look in the mirror.
Oh, look at that. You've got more right.
Look in the mirror. Don't pick on Zamir. There you go.
Glove don't fit. You must have quit.
You'll shed a tear if you start Zamir at this point. You'll actually shed a tear if you start him. So I'm shedding a tear. I had him in one of my lineups. Okay, so pickups. It's obviously Braylon Allen for waiver wire, right?
I think Carson Steele right now is the top priority pickup.
Yeah, for sure.
Just based on the fact that he's going to be taking over the backfield for at least the next month or so in Kansas City. As far there wasn't really anyone that I was like, oh, you definitely got to get this guy, except for maybe Carson Steele. But all these backup running backs, guys like Ty Chandler, Zach Charbonnet, Ray Davis, Blake Corum, Bucky Irving, Braylon Allen. These are all guys you should look for to see if they are on your waiver wire. And I think if they are, you need to get them rostered. There's some that are, that are in good situations, not quite enough volume for me to want to start them. But like Ty Chandler yesterday got 10 touches. That's pretty good. I mean, that's what you like to see. So anyway, I would focus on those guys, but definitely top priority would be Carson Steele right now.
All right, let's move on to the wide receiver position. Before I do, guys, make sure you guys do head over to mybookie.ag. I've teamed up with them, guys. This is a place to place your bets. Mybookie.ag, use code FFC, 100% match deposit. So if you put in 100, they give you 100. That's pretty amazing. Play with house money there, guys. Play with their money. So mybookie.ag, the code you want to use is FFC. Go create an account right now, guys. And you can get my picks below. Get my picks below to get that advantage. I'm doing a lot of research into the picks every single week. Going to make sure you guys win. So Head on over to mybookie.ag, code FFC right now. Amazing place. It's the place that I play. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Head over right now, guys. Let's get it. All right, so wide receivers, guys. Did we go over the suck of the week? Who was the suck of the week at running back?
Oh boy. Jeez. There were so many.
I'm gonna say, man.
I mean, Joe Mixon really fell off from the week before. Remember week before he was like the number 2 running back last week. Only 8 fantasy points this week. He got 25 rushing yards. That's it.
27 to 8. 27 points to 8 points in 1 week. That's a big drop.
Yeah, man. Zach Moss with 34 rushing yards. That's pretty terrible. Those are probably the 2 biggest names that did poorly. So
yeah, man, I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably go Joe Mixon. I mean, people have such high expectations of him. He just crapped the bed. Everyone else kind of to be expected, right? Man, oh man, suck of the week. You, sir, are the suck of the week, Joe Mixon. All right, wide receivers, man. Oh man, I got to take ownership on this before we start this here. I'm really surprised that Nico Collins is doing this well. And some people say, well, how are you surprised? Blah, blah. Because he didn't get a lot of targets last year without Diggs there. And now he's just being fed a lot. I mean, it seems like Dell is not on factor. Diggs barely a factor here. It seems like it's a Nico Collins show. He's a good player. I don't know what to tell you. Finished 4th, again, excluding the Monday night game, 27.5 points, 10 targets, man, 8 receptions, a touchdown, 135 yards. I mean, I don't know. Nico Collins, man, he's doing really good.
Yeah, absolutely. He clearly is the one on this team. And what happened to, Diggs, his numbers looked really good week 1, but that's because he got the 2 short touchdowns. He only had like 33 receiving yards. And so if you don't get the touchdowns, all of a sudden you are just worth nothing. You're way far down on the draft board. So yeah, I mean, clearly Nico's the one going forward, the one you want to start. And also check out the 2 rookies, man. Marvin Harrison, the number 1, and Malik Neighbors, the number 3 wide receiver on the week. That's great. Congratulations to the new guys.
18 targets, Malik Neighbors, very, very attractive. Exactly what I wanted out of this guy. Great talent. Looked good when he touched the ball. 127 yards and a touchdown, 28.7.
And 18 targets. 18.
Yeah.
That also might have just been Washington. I got to say, man, who's Washington playing this week? Because I want to play everybody that's playing again. Oh, the Bengals are playing Washington this week. Lucky Bengals. I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that is a primetime game, Monday, September 23rd. It doesn't sound that much fun. But you also have the Buffalo game going at the same time versus Jacksonville. That should be a little more entertaining. So, but yeah, I mean, if you look at him and Marvin Harrison, obviously the 2 touchdowns, which inflated his numbers. He had that big catch, major. And then see that Michael Jordan style leap into the end zone. Did you see that, Jim? The big jump.
I did. Now, who did that? I don't remember.
Marvin Harrison.
Oh, that was Harrison. Oh, geez, man. He was on fire yesterday. I just happened to be lucky enough to play someone that had the stack of Marvin Harrison and his quarterback. And going into the afternoon games, I had this huge lead on this team. I'm like, I'm going to destroy this team this year. This is in our dynasty league, by the way. And like immediately, first quarter between those 2, they score like 70 points and just right now I'm holding on with my fingernails to a 5-point lead, and he still has Devonta Smith playing tonight. I'm like, I'm going to lose this game, but damn, I thought I had it. I thought I had it locked down.
Speaking of lockdown, I thought I had, because I went and started Ladd McConkey everywhere, okay? Everywhere. I mean, based on matchup, Justin Herbert, I mean, he was going to bounce back. He was playing Carolina. Ladd McConkey, don't be a donkey. Start McConkey, right? And then Quentin Johnson, the guy that screwed my team every single week. Well, I didn't start him every single week last week, but he screwed my teams because I believed in him, and he didn't do anything last year. The one game I need McConkey to do something, out comes Quentin Johnson. Like, what are the odds of that? Really?
Yeah, with 2 touchdowns.
Not one, but 2. 2.
This guy has bricks for hands. He hasn't been able to catch anything. 5 for 6, 51 yards, 2 touchdowns. What the hell?
I think he was on everybody's bench. So yeah, if you're looking at waiver wire, QJ, I've got him on my benches, but because I just wanted insurance for Ladd because I was trying to figure out who the one is there. I still don't think QJ is the one, but man, I mean, 6 targets, just strange. And then Rashid Shaheed again. So it wasn't a fluke week last week, but watch, week 3, you're going to start Shaheed, and Shaheed's going to put up a donut. Like, we don't know, right? Like, and then Alec,
again, he's not getting that much volume. He only got 4 targets, and he did get 3 carries. But he is doing so much with them, and that's very impressive. But he is a super risky pick. You know, if you look at like Xavier Worthy of Kansas City, again, very, very low volume. He didn't get a touchdown. He's not worth anything. I don't even know where he is on the list.
Said that. That I want to take credit for again, because everybody was ripping me on Xavier Worthy because there was that viral post I posted on Instagram where he dropped the ball and I said, I don't want you. I don't like you. And I said, Keon, I was wrong there as well. But, so Keon better bounce back, man. I got a lot riding on him. But yeah, what did he do? Where is Xavier?
Worthy was the wide receiver 66 this past week because he didn't get a touchdown. You know, he needs to get these low volume explosive players. If they don't get a touchdown, they're not going to get you anything, right? They're not going to be worth anything. And that's the risk of starting guys like Shaheed, Shaheed and Worthy is that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the boom and you're going to get the bust. So how much risk are you willing to take?
4.2 fantasy. I'm actually going to do a post on this because he won week 1. He gave me a heart. So we're actually 1 for 1, me and Worthy on the season. I'm being right. So yeah, he busted this week. So me and Worthy won, Counselor 1, Worthy 1, 2 weeks in. So I'm going to keep tabs on that. But Alec Pierce, I think he's worth considering now. 7 targets. I mean,
7 targets for sure. He's a startable guy with that sort of volume.
Man, it's crazy. Some people, Olave finishing, again, excluding the Monday game, 23rd. Just DJ Moore, 27th, not good, right? Garrett Wilson, 30th, 10.2 points. Jalen Polk had a touchdown, right? Like, it's crazy. Brandon Ayuk, what a bust. I told you, avoid Ayuk. It wasn't a fluke. I told you to avoid Ayuk. There you go. 37. 37.
You just think of limericks when you're just watching the games.
How about this Tyreek Hill? Right? Tyreek Hill.
Oh yeah, where is Tyreek? How did
he finish?
Oh yeah, Tyreek did terrible this past week. Yeah.
Your guy
24 yards, 3 catches.
Jaden Reed.
He was also locked down. Again, that was one of those things. The whole passing game for Miami was really shut down by the Buffalo defense.
Yeah. But now you got Skyler now throwing the ball.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I didn't start, and I benched all my Green Bay receivers this week because I didn't want to risk it. And lo and behold, none of them did a damn thing. They just went to a run first offense. They leaned on Josh Jacobs and they won the game, which is congratulations, man. That's really good with a terrible quarterback. But they just needed a game manager in there just to,
Dude,
but until Love returns, you can't start any Green Bay receivers right now.
Look how abysmal this is. You ready for this? Hopkins, 1.9 points. Ready for this? Tank Dell, 2.3 points. It gets worse. Look at this. We got Tyler Lockett, 3.5 points. Cortland Sutton, 3.6 points. These are all names, right? Amari Cooper, 4.1 points. Deontay Johnson, 4.5. George Pickens, 4.6. Michael Pittman, 5.1. Romo Doomsday, 5.1. Dude, Jaden Reed, 6.6. Mike Evans, listen to this. Mike Evans, 7.3 fantasy points. Ayuk, 8.2. Stephon Diggs, 7.7. Cooper Kupp, 7.7. Jamar Chase, 7.5. Dude, this is terrible. These are all those names, big names, Pittman, Chase, Evans, all under 10 points. It was a bad week for receivers. Bad week.
Terrible. It's been a terrible year for receivers so far, just absolutely abysmal. And it's because their quarterbacks are not getting the job done, are not delivering the ball. And, it is shocking. It is shocking at how poor the wide receiver play has been this year. You were saying that it's like they don't respect the one anymore. And I don't know. I think it's these defensive schemes are just completely shutting down the passing game, except for the short passing game, the screens and the throws behind the line of scrimmage and those terrible plays that you see all the time now, because that's the only thing that they can get open on, and so
So the suck of the week, everybody. I mean, everybody I just mentioned sucks. Like, you should all be ashamed of yourself. But I'm going to say Xavier Worthy because me and him are kind of on an online battle back and forth. So I'm going to say Xavier Worthy's a suck of the week. But that's kind of to be expected.
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, again, Worthy, we knew what Worthy is. Worthy's a boom bust player. We know he's a low volume, explosive player. If he doesn't get you the touchdown, he's not worth anything. He's not worth anything. But yeah, I mean, when you see guys like all these first and second round receivers way down here in the 40s and 50s, that's unacceptable, man. I mean, just
Unacceptable.
absolutely unacceptable. So
Okay, so who are we picking up off waiver wire? And who? Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, right now I got my top pickup would be Quentin Johnson. Although, gosh, I just can't get excited about it, man. I think it was kind of fluky. I don't know, but he does look a little bit better this year than he did. Alec Pierce also would be my two top targets.
How about Minnesota's Jalen Naylor had 4 targets, 3 receptions, and I think
4 targets.
And he had a tutty. He had a touchdown.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, if it's a low volume and they're not getting the touchdown, they're not going to be worth anything for your team. Jalen Tolbert of Dallas got 9 targets, so that's something there. Greg Dulcich got 8 targets. Elijah Moore of Cleveland got 8 targets. So I think all those guys are worth pickups right now.
Okay, let's talk about the tight end. Let's move on to the tight end position here. Studs and sucks. I don't want to spend too much time at this position because it's a whole crapshoot. The whole thing with tight end is a crapshoot. I mean, like, who would have thought that Loon Shoemaker would finish 7th? Brenton Strange at 9. But again, we want to talk about that Isaiah Likely thing because that was kind of the narrative going into this week. It's like everyone went crazy for Likely, and sure enough, Mark Andrews is back, in the top 10, 5 targets. Not great, 9.1 points. And Likely fell off, finishing 20, again, excluding the Monday game, 23rd amongst tight ends here, Jim. 4.6.
Only 3 targets.
Right. Yeah. What happened to the 12 targets? Everybody was like crazy.
Well, again, in the week 1 game, they completely shut down Mark Andrews. They completely shut him down, double and triple covered the whole game. So obviously they just went to Likely. I mean, again, it was a scheme. It was a scheme that fit. Really, when it comes to the Ravens, the only one that I really trust right now is Flowers. Flowers is getting great volume. He's getting excellent volume, and he's being productive with it. So good for him. But
Sam Laporta,
yeah, I mean,
3.3 points.
These names that are in the top 12. I mean, again, when you're looking at the waiver wire and stuff, do you really trust Brenton Strange with his 6 targets, or Luke Shoemaker with his 6, or Jonnu Smith with his 7?
Not sustainable. It's not sustainable.
I don't know. Hunter Henry got 12 targets yesterday. That was pretty good. He looked good.
I don't trust any. I mean, Brock Bowers looks like he's a consideration. Like, if you have Brock Bowers, he's looking good this year now. I think he might be something, He
is. I wish I took him in more leagues, because he was a late quarterback. So
yeah, it's
late tight end. He was a late tight end that you could get like 9th round, 10th round. He would have been a perfect pick for that time.
So, suck of the week, I'm going to go Sam Laporta here. 26th amongst tight ends, 3 targets, 2 receptions. Like, that's pretty disgusting, honestly.
Yeah, and then what about Travis Kelce too? The top 2 tight ends taken, and Kelce was tight end 44.
Oh my God!
1 catch for 5 yards.
Wow. So he's really fading off. It looks like the Rashee Rice show.
Definitely Rashee Rice is the number 1 receiver. I just don't get, because Kelce is out there like every play. He is on the field every play, and yet he is being completely ignored by Mahomes. And Mahomes is doing really bad too. I mean, yesterday he only had like 150 passing yards. I'm sorry, that's not a Mahomes game. That is, I don't understand how that is happening, but it's happening. That's the reality we're living in. This psycho universe we're living in.
Mickey said it. Women weak in the knees rock. Maybe it's Taylor Swift at all the game. Maybe he's up there looking at the box the whole time. He's distracted. I don't know what's going on.
Well, no, because he's not getting the targets. He's not the one getting distracted. Mahomes is the one that's not throwing the ball to him. I'm like, what the hell's going on, Mahomes? Why are you ignoring your best bud in the whole world?
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I just I am shocked and I am panicked, because there was that one league where I took those 2 tight ends as my first 2 picks in a tight end premium league, and they are getting me nothing. Bupkis, absolutely nothing.
Well, maybe it was his fall off year last year. We saw the regression. Maybe that was just the year, and it was just like, we got to accept it that he's just fallen off, and this is like borrowed time. I don't know. Like, maybe that's just what's happened. I don't know.
But it's not like he's playing poorly. He's out there. He's blocking every. He's blocking for Pacheco, and he's doing that. I mean, he's involved in every game and he's playing a full load of snaps, I don't understand why he's not on the not getting targeted. I don't get it.
It's a very strange year. Very, very strange. Let's go. So waiver wire there again. It's very hard to trust. I'm not even going to suggest anybody. I mean, hopefully the tight end that you drafted is going to be viable at some point because there's nobody to trust here.
Yeah, I mean, do you trust Mike Gesicki with his 9 targets this past week? I don't. I don't trust Hunter Henry. I don't trust Luke Shoemaker. Brenton Strange. I don't trust any of these guys that showed up this week just because they got pretty decent volume.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz ended up as the tight end 8. What?
Yeah.
And he didn't even do that much. He had 4 targets for 60. 4 targets for 62 yards, no touchdowns. I was like, did he get 2 touchdowns? No, he didn't. But yeah, I mean, that's 4 catches for 62 yards was the 8th best tight end performance this week. Just garbage across the board, man.
I don't know if you have defenses pulled up, but again, defenses, we got to pick up the kind of the matches to stream here. So I'm just going to pull up my.
I did look at this yesterday. I looked at who has some good matchups, and Cincinnati versus Washington. That's a matchup that I want. I think that's going to be a great game for the defense as well. You got the Raiders playing Carolina. That's pretty good. I think that'll be a fine defense to start.
Bryce Young.
Green Bay's at Tennessee. That's all right. Tampa Bay versus Denver. I think that's a good one. The Chargers play Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh doesn't have an offense, man. I mean, they're winning, but they are not scoring points. They are not pushing the ball down the field at all.
Yeah, good point.
So I think that's a good matchup. And then New Orleans, are they for real? They're playing Philly next week. What if they go and they beat Philly? Not only beat them, but beat them like they beat the past 2 teams, like where it's like 50 to 15 or something like that.
What is the spread on that? It's Eagles are 2.5-point favorites. So again, it's like Vegas still believes Eagles are the real deal and that Saints are fake. Because based on the last 2 weeks' performance, you'd think that the Saints would be the favorite at home coming off these 2 games. So maybe they come back down to reality. I'll look at that when I do the Counselor's Edge picks. So you guys get in on the picks now. But again, what else is there here that I would consider? How about the Colts? Colts versus the Bears. I think Indy would be a good defense.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
against the Bears,
any of these rookie quarterbacks seems like it's a pretty good pick to play the defense that's played against him. They're going to do all right.
Oh man!
Although I picked up Indianapolis because again Green Bay was playing their backup quarterback, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to be a good defense for them, and they did all right, but they didn't blow the doors off of anything. They weren't like fantastic for fantasy. They were fair. That was the best way I could describe it.
Unbelievable.
Where did they even end up here on the list? Oh no, they weren't even very good. Oh, this must be a different defensive scoring because I got like 7 points off of the Colts.
So yeah, for next week, guys, Cincy, Raiders, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Chargers, and Indy, a couple of defenses to consider to stream. Unless you've got a defense that you're starting that you're comfortable with, go with that. So man, I mean, just wild week, injuries piling up, lack of performance, especially at the wide receiver. Just to recap, those wide receivers were just terrible. Big names, Pittman, Evans, Jamar Chases of the world. Everyone's picking on me on Coleman. Yeah, but like, we got like top receivers, even your guy, Jane Reed, right? Like, I don't even know what to say coming up.
Well, again, I told you I benched all my Green Bay receivers until Love comes back. They're not going to play. So
unbelievable. And the fact that
Green Bay and Love might be back pretty soon. He was almost, I mean, I didn't think it was realistic that he was going to play this week. I didn't think it was going to happen but he was questionable all week until they downgraded him on Saturday to doubtful. And I knew he wasn't going to play, but he could very well be back next week. And if he does, that's great. I'm putting Love back in when he comes back. So
absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. I heard week 5, but earlier, as late as week 5. That's what I heard. Could be wrong though. Yep. All right, man. Smash it, tap it, slap it, and make sure you guys drop your suck of the week below. Keep the content going here. Turn on the bell. We'll talk soon. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Counselor.
We're out.